Alright guys, welcome back to the Unprofessional Kitchen, where I show you how to make great food in the average kitchen. Today we're making a very simple but classic dish, the French onion soup. This is a fantastic recipe because it has simple ingredients, simple steps with a really big payoff at the end. So let's not waste any more time and get straight into cooking. Alright folks, let's jump straight into the prep, starting with the onions. Now to save time in the video, I've already skinned and halved the onions. For this recipe, we're going to use about 2 to 3 pounds of onion that we are going to slice along the grain as thinly as possible. This might seem like a lot, but the onions are going to reduce significantly in volume as you cook and remove their water content. So trust me when I say it's better to have too many rather than too little. Next, I'm going to use my box grater to grate the cheese that I'm going to use to serve on my soup. In this recipe, I'm using an aged Swiss, but by all means use whatever variety you prefer, like, I don't know, regular Swiss. Following on theme with the toppings, next we're going to slice up our French baguette for the croutons. We're going to do this by simply cutting them into 1-inch thick slices that we will drizzle with extra virgin olive oil and season with some kosher salt. Place the pan into a 375-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 5 to 10 minutes, or until it's perfectly toasted on both sides, like so. You all know what toasted bread looks like, but here's a reference just in case. Following up, I like to do a quick prep for the aromatics by using some butcher's twine to tie it up into an aromatic bouquet for the soup. Just cut a piece of butcher's twine and tie it around the herbs like you were tying a shoe, then cut off the excess length. This just makes it easier to fetch out when the soup is done. Start the cooking process. In a heavy bottomed pot on medium heat, add 1 to 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil and 5 to 6 tablespoons of cold unsalted butter. The combination of both will not only add flavor, but the extra virgin olive oil has a higher smoke point than butter, which will help prevent the butter from burning over the lengthy cooking time. Once the butter starts foaming, you can add in your onions. Season them generously with a pinch of kosher salt. This will both enhance the flavor and draw out the moisture from the onions. Optionally, you can also add sugar to help the browning of the onions, but I opt to leave it out since you're going to get natural sweetness from the onions as they cook down. You're going to frequently stir the onions as they begin to cook down. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this step is a lengthy one. In order to cook the onions down to where they begin to soften and brown, taking care not to burn them, it could take up to 40 to 60 minutes. Now in many other recipes, you would cook these down until the onion got a very deep, rich brown caramelization, and with good reason, because it's delicious. However, for the sake of time, in my opinion, for an onion soup recipe, cooking them down till they soften and get a nice golden color like this is perfectly adequate, but I do recommend going the distance if you can. Once that's done, add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and cook for about 3 to 5 minutes. Once complete, add in 1 cup of dry red wine, but if you prefer, you can substitute for white. Just bear in mind, the general rule of thumb is to use a wine that you don't mind drinking. Cook this again for about 5 minutes before adding in 6 cups of beef stock. Preferably, I recommend a homemade. However, if you don't have the time, there is no harm in using a box stock. Just be mindful, if you do, to not overcorrect with the seasoning, as they tend to already have a high sodium content. Just add in your aromatic bouquet. Bring the soup up to a simmer and leave it partially covered for at least 1 hour. Now, for serving, I actually don't own the traditional serving bowls used for onion soup, but I do, however, own this Brie cooking dish that looks remarkably similar and works perfectly fine. So for this occasion, I'm going to be using that. Once the soup is ready, I'm going to fetch and remove the thyme and rosemary, which we can easily do now thanks to our butcher's twine. Add fresh black pepper to taste and adjust seasoning if necessary, as mentioned earlier, before ladling it into your serving bowl. Place your croutons on top of the soup like so, and then add your grated cheese on top, and do not be afraid to be very generous with it. Now normally, I'd say set your broiler and place the soup underneath until the cheese is fully melted. But since I cannot be bothered to do that, I'm just going to be using my blowtorch to melt the cheese. If you do not own a blowtorch, please opt for the broiler option. And now, just like that, all your time and effort is paid off because your soup is ready to enjoy. Alright guys, well that about wraps it up. I want to thank you very much for watching the video. I really hope you go out and make this when the cold seasons start rolling in and you need some comfort food to warm you up. If you like this video, please think about subscribing to the YouTube channel and giving me a thumbs up to see more content like this, where I show you how to make great food in the average kitchen. And as always, if there's anything that you want to see me cook in the average kitchen, please leave it in the comment section below and I'll be happy to try it. Until then, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time.